like, so I made a choice. I came here. I'm working through all of the things that it brings up. And then what?
You're a different person. Already.
I am a different person. I still want to be like a happy person.
Yeah.
I don't want to, I feel like I'm always sort of hashing over things and not just, you know, like I love to watch it move. Like if I felt like we were sort of moving into an easier phase, I guess is what I'm trying to say, you know, level 7, level 8. And then I just thought level 9, I was going to float, you know, and that's not going to happen, is it?
Not so much. But that doesn't mean, this is where terminology really, really, really is getting in the way of things. So let's see if we can come up with the best way to talk about it. All your incarnations, all your lives, however you want to say it, right? All your incarnations have been designed around the idea that you wanted something. That something can be talked about with lots of different terminology, but our favorite terminology is you wanted to integrate the soul's perspective into the human body. You want to be able to live with your soul's insight active in you while you're still human, while you're still in density, while you're still in duality. Now, this is not an easy thing you're asking yourself to do. It's not easy. In fact, it's difficult. It's hard. It's challenging. As far as soul challenges go, it's way up there. You know, we've said it before, Earth isn't for wimps. You know, you didn't come here, we should say it this way. That idea was not taken on by spiritual lightweights. Period. You're weary. You know? A lot of you are weary. We get it. We understand. You're weary. You've been doing this for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. You're weary. If you knew the real picture and how long you've actually been working on this, you would quit or try to quit or run away. And that's why you don't know the whole picture, because you as just one personality self can't embrace the epic journey you're on as a soul interacting with Earth. You can't embrace it with just one brain. Okay. You're at this really interesting crossroads where energetically you're actually starting, and we mean y'all, right? We're just saying y'all are starting to embody more and more of your soul's perspective. As you do that, it becomes more and more challenging to manage humanness because you have less and less amnesia. That's not the right way to say it. It's the right way to say it, but it's not getting the job done. It becomes more challenging to manage humanness because you can energetically taste the way it is when you don't have the human form to deal with. And the human form is louder than it's ever been. Survival instinct, fear, the things you talked about that made you squeal, made your body squeal. You're just at that place, you know, you have this saying, it's always darkest before the dawn. And that saying energetically fits the situation. You push up against this place of big transformation just enough so you start to get bleed through. It's like you get, we'll call it, just for a sake of an example, say your soul's here and your body's here, right? And you've done a really good job monitoring survival instinct, fears, triggers, habitual response, all that stuff, right? Say there are little graphs that go up and down. You've been really good at monitoring them, which has elevated your top line, let's say, starting to go into your soul's perspective. Just enough to say have alternate expression bleed through, which sort of sucks. Alternate expression bleed through is like just add more baggage onto my lifetime. Because as we've explained to you, what bleeds through first? More fears, more anxieties, more this got me deads, more this person betrayed me, more you can't love because you can't count on people. Because that's the part of your alternate expressions, otherwise known as past lives, that you hear first. Because just like the Visionaries explained, it's what you tell each other now. So of course you do it when you're connecting with your alternate expressions. I don't have any money, either do I. Well, crap, when do we fix this? And so that when do we fix it, when does it get easier, starts to get louder and louder in you. Because not only are you like, you, Sue, going, when do we fix this? The connection you're making to your alternate expressions have the same issues, especially when they're human things. Fair enough? You guys can feel into that? You're like, yes, we get it. Go on. Let's get a little hostile there in the room. Just a moment. We're going to situate in the chair better. Okay. So the line, remember we have this is the human part, this is the soul part. And as that line creeps up, the first band you get, we don't blame you for being irritated with. We absolutely don't blame you. And the thing that kind of sucks, and we admit it, we're not afraid to admit this, is that band, those things right there, the alternate expression bleed through, we'll call them, yeah? Mm-hmm. Is so much stuff that feels so much like your lowest part of being human that you thought you'd finally gotten past, that just you thought you had quieted down, that hasn't bugged you in a while, that you're like, that Monopoly game, what does it say? Don't pass, go to jail, don't pass, go, don't collect your $200. You're like, I am mad about this. And that's why you guys are weary. That's probably the best way to explain it, is because when you start to tap into your soul's perspective, the place where you're tapping into your soul's perspective is alternate expression bleed through. Now, a lot of you know what we're talking about when we say alternate expression bleed through. You're like, yeah, that lifetime that you have with the, what's that volcano thing called?
Well,
the
one, two of them, one in Atlantis and one in Italy.
What's the Italy one? Pompeii. Yeah, like Donna's Pompeii story. If you weren't here for that, trust us, she was in Pompeii when sitting in the chair, right? So it's real. Yet you can talk yourselves out of it. And so if you, let's say, we're just using you as an example. You didn't do this, but all of a sudden you feel completely fearful for your children. And you don't realize that it's not this lifetime that's happening. You're calling your kids going, what's going on with you? I'm all worried. Your kids are like, Mom's losing it, all right? She's freaking out over nothing. Nothing's wrong, and she's freaking out, so now maybe I should be freaked out. Everybody's freaked out. If you can catch yourself and go, is this true right now? That's why we have to do what is true now. That's why we had to do it 250,000 times and counting. Oh, wait, there's an extra person here. 300,000 times and counting, right? What is true now? Is this anxiety, fear based in now? Or is it the happy occurrence of me raising my vibration enough to tap into my alternate expression bleed throughs? Now, very, very, very few of you have come to us with stories saying, I had a really cool alternate expression bleed through. Either you don't tell us, we doubt it, or we haven't gotten there yet. And part of not having gotten there yet is this thing that your question brings up. If we imagine the layer, right? The first picture we had was personality and then soul, like a cake, 2 layers of the cake, yeah? And then as we raise this by being more conscious and we start to feel into the soul's perspective, and then you get that band, the bando fear, we'll call it. If you don't fall for the trap of it, the trap is, I'm back here. You're not back there. And that's what your question is like. You said, what happens next? And we said, you're a different person. You went, I am a different person. I'm a different person with the same challenges. Mm-hmm. But I'm different facing those challenges. And those challenges actually don't come only from my own experience. Navigating this is choppy waters, and that's why we had the crooked road and we had all the other things we talked about, because this is new. You guys are showing us this, right? All we can do is read your energetic and help you navigate the waters. You guys are starting to show us this. Just when you sat down there, we got clearer about it than we had been up until this point. We realized what was going on because you sat there and said, I'm going to be vulnerable and admit this thing is bugging me. It's a really good reason to be vulnerable, so people have a chance to learn something new. So what's fascinating is what's on the other side of that band, right? That's you accessing your soul's perspective, accessing your alternate expressions, and knowing that fear, habit, baggage, static, survival instinct don't tell you who you are, how to feel, who to be. You tell it where it fits in your life. That's not easy, but boy howdy, if you could imagine experiencing this world, having that relationship straightened out, that relationship to, I tell you where you fit in my life, right? That is not a pie in the sky idea. We've seen Veronica do it. It's hard. She has to maintain this real strict thing in her about it, but what's on the other side of that is very, very cool. But it requires something, it requires you to dig deep to get to it and not fall for the lie that when you're in that band, it means you've gone all the way back to zero. That's why we've given you 150 tools to lean on.
Is there anything about asking to release those fears as well? Like, I'll often ask the guardian for help.
It's very good to ask the guardians for help. Part of what happens when you ask the guardians for help is you're aligning your free will with the idea that you have stuff that you don't need.
So would that work?
We've seen it work with Veronica, so yes.
On the soul.
Yes,
yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Another thing to do, and we're not sure how well this works, but this is all we've got right now. Another thing to do is to say, I realize this isn't true now. This is part of my alternate expression. This isn't helping me. So show me something else, or, move on down the road. Because just like your survival instinct will look for things to be afraid of and catalog them, when it comes out of your alternate expressions, it's the same kind of thing. It has a sense of urgency attached to it that you have to be the one that says, actually, no, I don't have to be afraid of rhinoceroses right now. If they were all that ridiculous, it would be beautiful.
Right.
It would be so fabulous, because then you would catch them more easily. But they come in as this sort of general miasma, is that the right word? Just general sense of unease.
Yeah.
And then you multiply that times, can I really afford to pay the rent this month? And boing, 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 boing. So in essence, you kind of have to recommit, right? That's like the Visionaries were saying, when your little car runs out of juice, you got to to go some more. And we have to bring up in this moment that, a lot of people who we're affectionately referring to as the December 22nders hoped that December 22nd would take away this thing that you're feeling.
Yeah.
December 22nd, 2012, this feeling was never supposed to be part of the picture again. So when it came and it's even stronger, it's like the lifeboat's coming off the Titanic. People are fighting for a spot to get off. Let me out of here. Let me off this spiritual journey. I'm not getting anywhere. And we just want to just say, don't panic. This is the moment to, what did we stay? Someone in the council said, stay the course.
Yeah.
Stay the course. Because it's not the Titanic. We haven't hit an iceberg. You just think there's something bad happened because it didn't change overnight. But it's changing. We see your energetics changing. We witness you specifically changing. But you have to commit to it. There's a tension we feel in a lot of people right now that, why should I commit to this thing that's not working? Because of that band, right? You guys got into that band of fear, and you think it put you here, and because, we're getting so emotional. Because you think it put you here, you think this whole thing has been for naught, and it's not working, and it never worked, and it's broken, and I was stupid, and I could have just sex, drugged, and rock and rolled my way to a happy life because those people seem happy, and 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 I'm not happy because, and it's like, if you just keep things in the proper relationship, you know perfectly well how to handle this if you don't mistake it for a regression. Right? Don't you feel empowered by the very notion of it? Yeah. It's like, oh, I know who you are. Uh-huh. And woo, you're loud. Well, what do we do for loud things? We turn them down. You're out of balance. Remember, what's the loudest instrument in the band? Get that little mixing board. Mary will show you how it works. Turn that knob. You say, well, it's not that easy. With the proper relationship, proper trajectory, proper orientation, proper perspective on it, meaning it's not in charge, you are. The pecking order needs to be correct. It doesn't have to feel impossible. Challenging, sure. Not impossible. Not even hard. Because what we're seeing with Veronica, she's like, not even hard? It felt a little hard. It didn't escalate in difficulty. This isn't adding more weight. This is repetitive. You know, this is why she doesn't like doing the dishes.
It's like muscle memory.
Yeah, exactly, like muscle memory. This is why she doesn't like doing the dishes, because then there's just more dirty ones the next moment. Laundry, there's just more. It never stops. She likes things check, 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 next, check, 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 right? Progress, up the hill, climbing the mountain. Yes, that's what I like, because then I know I've done it, right? Good compare you to use. This is choose and choose again, if anything else. Choose, there it is again, there it is again. And it's not hamster wheel, it's muscle memory, you said it and it's right. You know, how many times does the diver dive off the diving board before they go to the Olympics? Would you even dream of counting? It would be so sad, right? You'd be like, 763,000 or some crazy number. The number's got to be enormous. By the time you get to the Olympics, can you imagine how many times you've dived off the diving board? It must be just an enormous number. You won't have to do it that many times. Not a diving Olympic diver number. But it's that same kind of thing where you do the same dive 70 times. Oh, Veronica was watching this thing about Larry Bird and Magic Johnson, right? And they were talking about how Larry Bird said, man, you know, I would throw 403 free throws in an afternoon, and I would stop and say, I bet he's doing 500, so he would do 100 more. Okay, so if they throw 400 free throws in one day, maybe they don't do that every day, but do the math. These guys are like 40 years old or something, and they do 400 free throws a day. You add that up, that's what it takes to be a high caliber athlete. You are the professional league. You didn't think that you were just the amateur league, right? You guys didn't think you were Pop Warner. You're on the NFL. John's on the NFL. You want to be on the baseball team or football team? You pick. Put you on the basketball team. Sue's on the basketball team. She's like, I don't matter. I'm only 5 foot tall. I can still dunk. Right? You want to be on the soccer team? Okay, you can be on the soccer team with those girls winning the Olympics. You guys are professional.
Okay, so I'm choosing and choosing again to be conscious, or
you're choosing and choosing again not to fall for the idea that this means you're here.
Yeah.
In your case specifically.
Yeah.
Everybody's got a different way of doing it, but that you showed us that energetic pattern. So that's for you specifically. For Veronica, it looks more like choosing and choosing again, not to let other people, places, and things be authority figures in her life above her own truth. So every time something comes up that tries to tell her who she is, she says, I know who I am. I know who I am. Free throw, free throw, free. For her, it's really the free throw thing. Okay. Yours is more, this is not this. Right? You can feel it?
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys
absolutely.
feel into either one of those examples? Yeah. Who's the free throw kind of way of doing it? Yeah. Who's more like Sue that does this is more like that? Yeah. Those are both good examples. There's probably other ways of saying it. But basically, you're becoming so different right now that all of your past and all of your alternate expressions are colliding in this time, and it's up to you navigating with your truth as your center who win? In essence, who wins? Who gets to decide? You know, because when those basketball players are standing at the free throw line and the game's on the line, they really need to make this basket right now. We don't think it's a big stretch of the imagination because they miss often enough that nerves, the crowd, their fatigue, you name it, their contract negotiations, what their wife's going to think, if their sponsors are going to renew, it's all in there. And what makes the basket go in? I did it 400 times a day for the last 20 years. Choose and choose again for consciousness. Healthy habit, we've called it. That's where you get to, where you're like, yeah. You become the one who's in charge.
That was really helpful.
Yay, really
Thank you.
helpful.
Thank you.
Whew.